In a war-torn corner of the galaxy, on a planet ravaged by years of conflict, a young alien girl named Tessa struggles to survive. With her lavender skin, milky white eyes, and pointed ears, she is different from the humans who now occupy her planet. She is blind, forced to rely on her other senses to make her way through the streets. The once thriving city has been reduced to a heap of ruins, filled with the debris of what was left behind after a brutal invasion. Every day, Tessa digs through the trash, collecting anything she can find of value. She doesn't know what the items look like, but she has learned their shapes, textures, and sounds. Plastic, metal, scraps of old technology, all of it holds some value. She trades what she finds for food and water in the black markets, barely scraping by. The people who walk past her don't pay much attention. She is just another poor alien child, abandoned by her own kind after the war. Some look at her with pity, others with indifference, but none offer help. On this day, however, something is different. Tessa, as usual, is sorting through the remains of a destroyed market district. She feels a peculiar weight in her hands, not just the usual broken metal or plastic, but something that hums. A small, spherical object with strange energy, smooth to the touch, and vibrating slightly in her hands. She has never encountered anything like it before. As she holds the object, a human soldier steps into the alleyway where she crouches. His dark green armor and rough face tell her he's one of the many soldiers sent to occupy the planet. She tenses, preparing for the usual cold interaction. The scornful looks, the ignoring, the occasional demand for her to move out of the way. But this human is different. Instead of walking past, he kneels down next to her. He's tall, with a scar running across his cheek, and his eyes are kind yet filled with curiosity. He gently reaches toward the object in her hands. "Where'd you find this?" he asks in a low voice, his tone surprisingly gentle. Tessa hesitates, unsure whether to speak or run. She tells him she found it in the wreckage. The soldier nods, his eyes narrowing as he examines the object more closely. It's something far more important than just trash. "You've just found something incredible," he says softly. He glances around nervously, as if checking for anyone who might overhear. "That's worth more than you could imagine. Do you know what it is?" Tessa shakes her head, unsure of what he means. The soldier gently explains that the object she holds is a unique alien artifact, something of great value to the planet's future, and possibly to human forces as well. He adds that if she can hold on to it, it could change her life forever. The suspense builds as Tessa, for the first time in her life, wonders if she could finally have something worth more than just survival, something that could give her a chance at a better life. Her hands tremble as she clutches the artifact. The soldier's words linger in her mind. It could change everything. Part 2. An unexpected bond, 800 words. As days go by, Tessa keeps the artifact close, the small object now wrapped in cloth and hidden in the safety of her rags. The human soldier, whose name she learns is Ryan, comes back several times. Each time, he brings her small amounts of food, and they talk. At first, it's awkward. Tessa, unsure of his intentions, and Ryan, trying to find a way to break through her walls. But slowly, they begin to understand each other. Ryan explains more about the human occupation of the planet. The aliens, once powerful and proud, are now struggling to survive under human rule. He tells her how the humans are trying to restore order, but it's not without cost. Tessa learns that the artifact she holds is a key to a new technology the humans are developing, technology that could either save her people or enslave them forever. It's a crucial piece in a much larger puzzle, one that could determine the future of her world. Tessa, still blind, begins to trust Ryan. She no longer feels the need to hide the artifact from him. Each time he visits, they talk more, and Ryan starts to show her the city from a new perspective. He teaches her how to sense things beyond her sight, using vibrations in the air and the sounds of people and machines around them. Slowly, the world is beginning to open up to her in ways she never imagined. Yet, despite their growing friendship, Tessa remains conflicted. She wants to believe that Ryan truly cares for her, but the fear of betrayal is never far from her mind. Could he be using her for the artifact? Or was there something more to his kindness? Part 3. The truth revealed, 800 words. As Tessa becomes more comfortable with Ryan, she begins to wonder about the true value of the artifact she holds. Ryan continues to speak in riddles, hinting at its potential, but never fully revealing what it could do. One day, the truth comes crashing down on her. A group of human officers arrives in the market district, looking for the artifact. They are more menacing than Ryan, their faces hard and cold. When they see Tessa, they immediately know what she is hiding. The soldiers demand she hand over the object, and Ryan, torn between his duty and his growing affection for Tessa, steps forward to protect her. "You can't take it," he says, his voice firm. "She's not part of this. You'll have to go through me." A tense standoff ensues, and Tessa realizes the stakes are far higher than she imagined. The artifact is more than just a key to new technology. It is the key to her people's freedom, a freedom that may come at a cost. As the human officers move to seize it, Ryan's loyalty to Tessa is put to the ultimate test. Tessa's heart races as the soldiers move in closer. But in that moment, she also knows something more. Ryan is no ordinary soldier. He's not here just for the artifact. He's here because he sees her worth as a person, and is willing to risk everything to protect her. The truth becomes clear. Ryan is not her enemy, but the very human who could help her change the fate of her world. Part 4, 7. Building trust, betrayal, sacrifice, and triumph. 800 words per part. In the following parts, the tension builds as Tessa and Ryan must navigate the dangerous world of intergalactic politics, where nothing is what it seems. Tessa discovers the full power of the artifact, and Ryan's role in the larger human conflict becomes clearer. But the challenges they face test their trust, loyalty, and ability to survive in a universe where betrayal lurks at every corner. As they fight to protect the artifact, they come to realize that their connection is more than just chance. It's a bond that could save or destroy both their worlds. In the end, Tessa must make a sacrifice to protect the future of her people, while Ryan faces the consequences of his choices. The story concludes with Tessa's ultimate decision to shape her own destiny, with Ryan by her side, in a universe that may finally see her as more than just an alien scavenger. As the days pass, Tessa begins to sense a change in her life. The human soldier, Ryan, keeps coming back, each time with more food and small gifts. At first, Tessa is wary, her blindfolded eyes never straying far from the street corners, always searching for signs of danger. She's used to the harshness of life on this ruined world. In the markets, on the streets, survival means everything. The soldiers, the aliens, they all fight for power, for food, for survival. But Ryan is different. He doesn't judge her. He doesn't sneer at her. Instead, he listens. He speaks to her like a person, not a beggar. Over time, Tessa begins to trust him. The small, glowing artifact Ryan told her about, the one she found in the wreckage, has been a constant reminder that her life could be more than just scavenging. It could be something greater. But as she holds the artifact in her hands, wrapped in cloth to keep it hidden, she feels a sense of unease. What does it mean? Why is it so important? And what does Ryan truly want from her? Ryan doesn't push her to answer questions she isn't ready to ask, but he keeps coming back, always with something new to show her. One day, he brings a piece of old human technology, a small device that vibrates when you press it, a kind of sonar-like tool. He teaches Tessa how to use it, showing her how to sense the shape of objects around her, how to map the world using her other senses. As she learns, a new world opens up. No longer does she have to feel her way through the wreckage. With the device, she can sense the space around her, the distance of people, the layout of the street, even the feel of the wind. She feels free for the first time in years. Tessa and Ryan begin to spend more time together. He shows her a city she has never truly known, not just the ruins and the trash, but also the human-built settlements, the camps where the soldiers rest. He tells her stories of his own people, how they had to fight for survival on their own worlds before coming to this one. For the first time, Tessa sees humanity as more than just an invading force. She sees it as a chance for a new future. One day, Ryan takes her to a small human settlement on the outskirts of the war zone. There, she meets other soldiers who are not like the harsh ones in the city. They welcome her with open arms, offering food, warmth, and laughter. But it is still clear that Tessa is an outsider An alien. She feels out of place, and a part of her longs for the familiar streets of the junkyard, where survival was the only thing that mattered. Ryan watches her closely. He can see her discomfort. He knows this isn't easy for her, but he also sees something else, a spark in her eyes that wasn't there before. She is no longer just a scavenger. She's becoming someone who can shape her own destiny. One evening, as the sun sets over the horizon, Ryan sits beside her, the warm light of the alien sunset casting long shadows over the ruined streets. They talk about their hopes and fears. Tessa confesses that she's afraid of what the future holds. She's afraid that even if she's given a chance to change her life, she'll lose it, that someone will take it from her. Ryan listens intently. "You don't have to be afraid, Tessa," he says gently. "The universe may seem huge, and it might feel like it's working against you, but there's a place for you in it. A place where you're not just surviving, but living." Tessa turns her face toward him, though her blindfold keeps her from seeing his eyes. She feels the weight of his words, as if they're the first real promise she's ever heard. As the evening grows darker, they sit in silence, and Tessa realizes that Ryan isn't just helping her survive anymore. He's giving her a chance at a new life, one where her worth is measured not by the trash she collects, but by the strength of her heart and the power of the choices she makes. For the first time, she doesn't feel alone. Days pass, and Tessa grows more accustomed to her newfound freedom, the tools Ryan has given her, and the strange comfort she feels in his presence. But even as she enjoys these small moments of peace, a sense of unease lingers at the edge of her mind. The artifact she holds, the one Ryan has carefully examined several times, weighs heavier on her heart. What is it truly? What does it mean for her people? And why is it so valuable to humans? Ryan hasn't told her everything. He's shown kindness and care, but there are moments when his eyes seem to cloud over, as if there's something he's not saying. Every time he looks at the artifact, it's as if he sees something she doesn't, and that worries her. One afternoon, Tessa is sitting on the edge of a ruined building, her back against a cool metal wall, trying to make sense of everything. She knows the object she holds isn't just a toy or a piece of junk, but she can't fathom its importance. She traces the surface of the artifact, feeling its hum beneath her fingers, wondering why it's so special. Ryan approaches, this time not with food or small gifts, but with a look on his face that's hard to read. He sits down next to her, his usual calm demeanor replaced by a certain tension. "It's time I tell you what this really is, Tessa," he says softly. "I've been holding back, but it's clear you deserve to know." Tessa's heart races. She's been waiting for this moment. But now that it's here, a wave of anxiety washes over her. She doesn't know whether she's ready to hear the truth, especially if it means facing the reality of her situation. Ryan turns toward her, his face solemn. "What you found is not just some random artifact. It's a key to an ancient alien technology that could change everything for your people." Tessa's fingers tighten around the object. She feels the weight of his words settle in. "What do you mean? How is it important?" "The technology it unlocks could bring about peace, or it could lead to more suffering," Ryan continues, his voice barely above a whisper. "The human government wants it for themselves, and they'll stop at nothing to get it. They're willing to destroy everything, even you, to keep it in their hands." Tessa feels a surge of fear. "But I found it. I didn't know what it was. It just seemed like a broken piece of junk." Ryan's expression softens, but there's a sadness in his eyes. "That's because you're not like them. You don't see the value in control, in power. You see it as something that's just there, but to them, it's everything. This artifact can either bring peace to your people, or it can help the humans tighten their grip on your world. It's up to us." Tessa's mind spins. She never wanted to be a part of anything like this. She just wanted to survive. She thought helping Ryan and trusting him would bring her a new chance at life, not a war. "But how could I possibly be part of something so big?" she whispers. "I'm just a girl. I can't fight. I can't even see." Ryan takes her hand gently, his touch reassuring. "You have more power than you realize, Tessa. More than you give yourself credit for. You've survived this long, haven't you? You're stronger than anyone knows. And you're not alone anymore. I'll protect you, but you need to decide, what will you do with this power? Will you let it be used for destruction, or will you help change your world for the better? Tessa looks down at the artifact in her hand, the weight of its potential overwhelming her. She feels a deep sense of responsibility wash over her, and for the first time, she sees the artifact not as a burden, but as a chance. A chance to take control of her fate, to not just survive, but to shape the future. But the fear still lingers. What will happen if the wrong people find out she has it? The thought of being used, of being exploited for her discovery, makes her stomach turn. Ryan senses her hesitation. You don't have to do this alone, Tessa. I'll help you. We'll face whatever comes next together. Tessa takes a deep breath, steadying herself. She doesn't know what the future holds, but she knows one thing for sure. She can't just sit back and let others decide her fate. She has to act. She has to make sure that the power she holds in her hands is used for good, not for more destruction. As the sun begins to set behind the war-torn city, casting long shadows over the rubble, Tessa makes her decision. She will fight for her people. She will fight for the chance to create a better world, not just for herself, but for everyone who has been left behind. I'll do it, she says softly, looking up at Ryan, her voice filled with resolve. I'll help, but we have to make sure we're doing this for the right reasons. For everyone. Ryan smiles, a look of pride in his eyes. We will, together. The days following Tessa's decision are filled with confusion, fear, and determination. She can feel the weight of the choice she made pressing down on her. With Ryan by her side, she knows she's not completely alone, but the reality of what she's about to face is starting to sink in. The artifact she's holding is far more than just an object. It's a symbol of power, a key that could alter the course of history for her people. But who will control it? Tessa often finds herself asking, will the humans use it for good? Or will they exploit it like they've exploited her people for so long? Ryan, ever calm, tries to reassure her, but even he can't hide the anxiety creeping into his voice. We'll need to get out of here, he says one day, as they sit together on the edge of a crumbled wall overlooking the smoldering remains of the once vibrant city. The human forces will be after you, and they'll want the artifact. The higher-ups in the military know it's important, and once they find out you have it, they won't stop. Tessa nods, understanding the gravity of his words. She's no longer just scavenging for survival. Now, she's in the middle of a war for something far greater. The future of her people and the entire planet. The next few days are a blur of movement. Ryan takes her to hidden places in the human settlement, quiet, untouched by the chaos of the outside world. But even here, the whispers of war are ever present. The soldiers are preparing for something, a major push, a change in strategy. The artifact is something they desperately need. It's the last piece of the puzzle that could turn the tide in the humans' favor. But there's something Ryan hasn't shared with Tessa. The high-ranking officers in the human military will stop at nothing to get their hands on it, and Ryan isn't sure who to trust. One evening, after a long day of planning their escape, Ryan sits Tessa down in a dimly lit room. I'm going to take you to a safe house. It's far from here, a place where we can think, where we can plan our next move. But we need to move quickly. The officers are coming for us. They know you have the artifact. Tessa feels a cold chill run down her spine. How will we know who's really on our side? She asks, her voice trembling. I don't want to end up being used again. Ryan places a reassuring hand on her shoulder. We'll know. Trust me, I won't let anyone use you. As they make their way out of the settlement under the cover of darkness, a sudden loud explosion shakes the ground beneath them. Tessa nearly stumbles, but Ryan grabs her arm to steady her. They both know that this isn't just an accident. It's a message. The war is intensifying. The humans are on the brink of something major, and they need the artifact to complete their plans. Ryan leads Tessa down dark alleyways, avoiding the bustling military checkpoints. The smoke from the explosion still lingers in the air, making it difficult to breathe. As they move quickly, Tessa's heart races. Every sound, every shadow feels like it's closing in on them. She knows they can't hide forever, but she also knows that for now, this is their only chance. Tessa's mind keeps returning to the artifact. What if it's all a lie? What if Ryan is using her for something greater than even she understands. She can't shake the fear that if she's not careful, she'll be swallowed whole by the power of the humans and their machines. But she also knows that without Ryan, she would be alone, just another blind girl searching through the wreckage of her world. He's the only one who's ever shown her kindness, the only one who hasn't treated her like a piece of trash to be discarded. They arrive at the safe house, a small, isolated building on the outskirts of the city. It's surrounded by tall fences and overgrown trees, giving it an air of secrecy. Inside, the air is thick with tension. Ryan locks the door behind them and turns to face Tessa. From now on, he says, we'll be moving in secret. We can't trust anyone. We'll need to gather support from people we know, the ones who haven't turned on you. If we're going to use the artifact for the right reasons, we need to stay hidden until we're ready. Tessa nods slowly, her fingers brushing the smooth surface of the artifact, still tucked safely in her rags. She doesn't know what the future holds, but she knows one thing. She's in this now. There's no turning back. The rest of the night is spent planning. Ryan explains that they'll need to seek out a neutral faction, a group of aliens who stayed out of the war and have refused to take sides. Tessa isn't sure who these people are, but Ryan says they're the only hope of keeping the artifact from falling into the wrong hands. In the dim light, Tessa feels a small spark of hope. For the first time, she's not just a blind scavenger. She's part of something bigger, something that could change everything for her people. As dawn begins to break outside, casting a faint orange glow over the war-torn landscape, Tessa makes a silent promise to herself. She will not let the artifact fall into the wrong hands. She will fight for her people. And no matter the cost, she will see her world restored, or die trying. The days pass in a blur of movement and secrecy. Tessa and Ryan are constantly on the run, hiding in the shadows of the war-torn city. Every step they take is measured, every word spoken carefully. The safe house is no longer safe enough. Even the most innocent of faces seem to hide secrets, and Tessa's trust in anyone but Ryan is slowly fading. She knows that the artifact, the small, glowing key to everything, is what everyone wants. Ryan's plans are solid, but the tension between them continues to build. Ryan is careful, always checking their surroundings, always on edge, but even he can't keep the growing suspicion out his eyes. He has his own demons to deal with, his orders to find the artifact, his own loyalty to the military, and his complicated feelings for Tessa. He's not sure if he can trust his own people, but he knows he has to keep moving forward, for Tessa's sake. One evening, as they gather their things to move once again, the door to the safe house creaks open, and two soldiers step inside. Tessa tenses, her breath catching in her throat. The soldiers are human, dressed in the standard uniform of the occupying force. Tessa recognizes one of them, Captain Arlen, a man with dark eyes and a cold demeanor. His reputation precedes him. He's known for his ruthlessness, for his willingness to do whatever it takes to secure victory. Ryan. Captain Arlen's voice is low, sharp, like a knife slicing through the still air. We need to talk. Tessa doesn't move, her hands clutching the artifact in her rags. She feels the weight of it against her chest, as if it's a burden she's never truly understood. What does it mean for her now? Ryan stands, a silent tension between him and Arlen. What do you want? He asks, his voice betraying nothing. I think you know, Arlen says, stepping closer, his boots clicking on the floor. He looks directly at Tessa, his gaze cold and calculating. You've been hiding her, haven't you? Hiding the artifact, too. You're not as clever as you think, Ryan. Tessa's heart begins to race, the room suddenly feeling smaller. She realizes the trap has been set. The soldiers know more than they've let on. The artifact is too valuable for them to ignore. And Ryan? He's caught in the middle of it all. His allegiance is now in question. Arlen, Ryan says, stepping forward, his hand instinctively moving to his sidearm. This isn't what you think. I'm protecting her. The cold smirk on Arlen's face deepens. Protecting her? Or protecting your own interests? You're running from your orders. Ryan, you know the consequences. We need the artifact. Now! Tessa feels a pang of betrayal. She thought Ryan was different. She thought he was someone who could help her escape this life. But now it feels like he's part of the same system she's been fighting against her entire life. "I won't let you take it," Ryan says, his voice strained with effort. He doesn't pull the trigger. Not yet. He steps in front of Tessa, his eyes never leaving Arlen's cold stare. "Tessa," Ryan says, his voice softening, "I'll get you out of here. Trust me." But Tessa feels the weight of the situation. She feels a betrayal in the air, thick and suffocating. She feels the pull of the artifact, and for the first time, she realizes the full truth of the situation. Ryan may have been her ally, but he's not the only one playing the game. The humans are desperate for the artifact, and if it's taken, it will be used against her people. "Ryan, you need to go," Tessa whispers, her voice trembling. She feels a betrayal of not only Ryan's actions, but of everything she thought she knew about him. There's too much at stake now. She can't just sit back and wait for someone else to decide her fate. Ryan hesitates, his eyes searching hers, as if trying to understand what she means. The decision isn't easy. Trust, it's fragile. But Tessa knows she has to take the reins, to make her own choices. Suddenly, Tessa stands, her blindfolded eyes fixed on Captain Arlen's smug face. She steps forward, her pulse racing, her hand reaching out to the artifact. "Take it," she says, holding out to Arlen. "It's not yours to take, and it's not his to keep, but you'll never use it for the right reasons." For a moment, the room is still. Arlen's eyes widen, his gaze flickering from Tessa to the artifact. "What are you talking about?" he asks, his voice low and dangerous. Tessa's fingers tighten around the artifact, feeling its strange power thrumming in her hand. "You don't know what it can do," she says. "But I do. I've seen what it can bring, and I won't let it be used for more bloodshed." Captain Arlen's face twists with anger. "You think you can control it, girl? You think you can stop me?" Tessa's heart pounds as she lifts the artifact higher, feeling its energy vibrate stronger in her hand. She feels the power building, but more than that, she feels the finality of her decision. The truth is, no one can control the artifact. Not Ryan, not Arlen, and certainly not her. But she can control how it's used. She can choose who gets to wield its power. Ryan steps back, his expression unreadable, as if he finally understands the depth of the choice Tessa has made. He may not agree, but he doesn't stop her. For the first time, Tessa realizes she's no longer just a blind girl picking through trash. She is something more. She is the one who decides her fate. "Leave," Tessa says, her voice steady. "This ends now." Captain Arlen takes one last look at her, his expression a mix of contempt and disbelief. With a curt nod to his soldiers, he turns and leaves. As the door slams behind them, Ryan approaches Tessa, his eyes filled with a mixture of pride and fear. He doesn't say anything. He doesn't need to. Tessa has taken control of her destiny, and the fight for her world has only just begun. Tessa's pulse races as the door shuts behind Captain Arlen and his soldiers, but she doesn't feel the relief she thought she would. Instead, a cold sense of dread settles over her. The artifact still pulses in her hands, its strange energy now more than ever a reminder that she's holding the future of her people, and possibly her own life, in her grasp. Ryan stands next to her, his expression torn between admiration and fear. He opens his mouth to speak, but no words come out. He doesn't need to say anything. Tessa already knows the truth. The moment she decided to act, everything changed. The war, the artifact, her people's fate, they all rest on her shoulders now. "Ryan," she says, her voice steady despite the chaos swirling inside her. "We can't run anymore. We can't keep hiding from them. We need to stop them, and I need to know what's next. I need to know who's with us." Ryan hesitates before answering. "You're right," he says, his voice low. "We can't hide. The humans want the artifact. And Arlen, he's not the only one. There are others, powerful people in the human military who will stop at nothing to get it." Tessa clenches the artifact tighter. The weight of her decision, of what she's about to do, is becoming overwhelming, but she doesn't back down. She can't back down. The only choice now is to take the fight to them. Ryan nods, as if finally understanding what she's feeling. "There's a group," he says slowly, that's fighting back. They've been organizing in secret, the resistance. They're alien factions who haven't agreed to either side of this war. Some of them may still be willing to help you. Tessa's heart skips a beat. The resistance. It's the last hope, the only chance to stop the human military from exploiting the artifact. If the resistance has the strength to fight back, they might be able to keep the artifact out of wrong hands. When can we get there? She asks, her voice trembling with both excitement and fear. Soon, Ryan replies. But we need to move quickly. If Arlen reports back, the resistance will be the next target. And you, Tessa, you'll be the one they come for. We need to make sure they don't know we're on our way. The journey to the resistance's base is grueling. Tessa, guided by Ryan, has to navigate through the dense, ruined cityscape that's crawling with human patrols. Every step feels heavier, the distance between her and safety stretching farther with each passing moment. They must be cautious. Stealth is their only advantage. By the time night falls, they've made their way deep into a darkened sector of the city, a place long abandoned by both the humans and the remaining alien forces. It's the perfect hideout for the resistance, a place where secrets can be kept safe and eyes can't easily pry. The path leading to the base is hidden under layers of rubble, with walls made of scrap metal and alien tech. Stay close, Ryan says, his voice low, almost a whisper. We're almost there. The moonlight casts a pale glow over the ruins, and Tessa can hear the soft hum of distant machinery. She knows that once they reach the base, their lives will change forever. The fate of her people will either be sealed by the military or reclaimed by those willing to fight for freedom. As they approach the entrance, Ryan signals for her to stop. He presses his finger to his lips, indicating that they need to be silent. Tessa's heart is pounding in her chest. She can feel the tension in the air, thick with anticipation. Ryan moves ahead, his hand sliding across a hidden panel, activating a concealed door. The door creaks open, revealing a dimly lit room filled with alien resistance members. They are a mix of different species, their skin tones and markings varied. Some are humanoid, others more insectoid or reptilian in appearance. They all share one thing in common: their hatred for the human occupation and their willingness to fight for the freedom of their people. Ryan steps forward, a mix of recognition and relief flashing in his eyes. One of the aliens, a tall, muscular figure with orange scales, approaches them. His eyes lock onto Tessa as he says, "So, you're the one who hold the artifact." Tessa steps forward. The weight of their gaze is now on her. "Yes," she replies, her voice steady. "And I'm ready to do whatever it takes to stop this war, to make sure the artifact is used for the right reasons." The alien leader nods, a look of respect crossing his face. "You've come to the right place. We may not have the strength of the human military, but we have something more powerful: unity and the will to fight. Together, we can take down the ones who are trying to control your people." Ryan turns to Tessa, his hand resting on her shoulder. "We can win this," he says. "Together, we will take back your world." Tessa feels a surge of emotion swell in her chest. This is the moment she's been waiting for. This is her chance to take control of her future, her people's future. With the resistance by her side, the artifact's true power will be used to fight for freedom, not oppression. She nods, her resolve hardening. Let's do it. The days in the resistance base are long and filled with tension. Tessa, now surrounded by alien freedom fighters, feels the weight of her responsibility more than ever. The artifact she holds is both a weapon and a hope, but for whom? Is it a tool to liberate her people, or will it become a symbol of destruction, used to further the agendas of those who seek to control everything? Ryan is with her every step of the way, and though she no longer doubts his loyalty, the uncertainty of what lies ahead never fully leaves her. The human military is getting closer, and soon they will find the Resistance's hideout. Tessa knows that their window of safety is shrinking, and every decision they make from now on will either bring them victory or seal their defeat. The alien resistance, though united, is not without its own divisions. Some factions are eager to strike immediately, to raid human strongholds and engage in full-scale rebellion. Others, however, argue for patience, for waiting until they have the upper hand. Tessa feels torn between the two. The desperation in the eyes of her fellow rebels is clear. They want to fight, they want to push back, but they don't have the resources or the strength to take on the human forces directly. And without the artifact, their hopes would be dashed. Tessa looks at the artifact again. It's still wrapped in the cloth she carries it in, but its weight is growing heavier. She knows it's more than just an object. It's a key. The humans will stop at nothing to get it, and they have the technology and military strength to crush the rebellion. If it's used the wrong way, it could destroy her people. But if it's used correctly, it could end the war. The night before their final operation, Tessa can't sleep. She sits alone, feeling the warm glow of the artifact against her chest. The room is quiet, save for the occasional footsteps of sentries patrolling the camp. The air is thick with anticipation. Tomorrow they will move out. Ryan finds her sitting by herself, her blindfolded eyes staring into the distance. He sits beside her without saying a word, just offering his presence. After a moment, he speaks. "You've come a long way, Tessa," he says quietly. "From the junkyard to here, from survival to rebellion. I don't think anyone expected this, least of all you." Tessa chuckles softly, though the sound is tinged with sadness. "I didn't expect any of this," she admits. "I didn't even know what it meant to have a future. All I knew was how to survive. And now," Ryan asks. Tessa takes a deep breath, holding the artifact in her hands. "Now, I know I'm fighting for more than just me, for the people who never had a chance, for those who can't fight for themselves. I can't let them down." Ryan's expression softens. "You won't." The next day, the resistance moves out in full force. Their plan is simple but risky. Infiltrate a heavily fortified human supply base, sabotage their operations, and destroy their main weaponry. It's a do-or-die mission, one that could either turn the tide of the war or leave them exposed and vulnerable. Tessa, though nervous, leads the charge. She's not just holding the artifact now, she's leading her people. And as she steps into the field, surrounded by alien fighters, Ryan at her side, she feels a fierce determination burn inside her. The mission begins in the dead of night. The resistance moves like shadows, using the terrain to their advantage. Tessa can feel the tension building, the air thick with the rumble of distant explosions. They reach the human base, a sprawling compound surrounded by high walls and armed soldiers. They use the artifact to disable the human surveillance systems, a final, desperate gambit to gain the element of surprise. Everything moves swiftly and silently. Tessa's heart pounds in her chest as they move through the compound, taking down guards and infiltrating key positions. Her senses are heightened. Every sound, every vibration in the ground, every flicker of light is a potential threat. But she presses forward. She can't stop now. They reach the central control room, where the human officers are gathered. Tessa feels the power of the artifact in her hands, a surge of energy coursing through her. This is it, the moment she's been waiting for. The human military has their weapons, but she holds a key to ending it. Ryan steps forward, leading the charge as the resistance fights to secure the control room. The battle rages on, chaotic and fierce. Tessa, her blindfold now pulled up slightly, uses the artifact's energy to disrupt the human tech, throwing their systems into disarray. She can feel the tension rise, the electricity in the air thick as the final moments approach. With a final blast of energy, the human base falls silent. The resistance has done it. They've won this battle. But as Tessa stands in the heart of the wreckage, surrounded by the remnants of both sides, she knows the war isn't over yet.